शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the Friday and Saturday series on teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Rūpa Goswami, Śikṣā. Yesterday we could not have the class because yesterday was a very auspicious day of Srila Haridas Thakur appearance, and many devotees chant more number of rounds. So we thought it is wise not to have the session. So this week we are only having it on Saturday, that is today. So in the last few classes, we began with the discussion on the definition of pure devotional service. So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has mentioned about this pure devotion, how one will get pure Krishna Prem, and he says, now let me describe you this pure devotion's characteristics, Shuddha Bhaktira Lakshan. And then he quotes Anya Vilashita Shunyam. So we saw one entire class where we discussed the commentary of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada on this verse Anya Vilashita Shunyam. Very deep and profound commentary. And then we began with actually Rūpa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu verse with Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur and Prabhupada's summary study of Nectar of Devotion. We started studying more in detail the definition of pure devotional service based on these works. And we started with that, and we have already covered in the last class, if we remember, we covered the verse, then we covered Prabhupada's translation of this verse, then what is Mukhya Lakshan and Gauna Lakshan, what is the concept of a Mukhya and a Gauna Lakshan. We studied this, and then we went to Anushilanam, especially shield. Shil Dhatu, Pravrittatmika, Nivrittatmika, and then Anu meaning. Here it is continuous in this context. And then because of these two shades of meanings for the Shil root, there are Cheshtarupa and Bhavarupa, Anushilanam. And then we have to now Srila Prabhupada's explanation on Anushilanam also we saw. And we discussed also based on the verse also this. Now we come to Krishna Anushilanam. There is Anushilanam which we have analyzed, but in the verse it is Krishna Anushilanam. So now let us study Krishna. Krishna includes Krishna or persons related to Krishna either in Cheshtarupa or Bhavarupa. So the term Krishna is very broad. It includes Krishna, who is Avatari. It includes all the avatars like Matsya, Kurma, Varan, Narsimha, Vamana, all the avatars. And not only that, it includes even those who are related to Krishna, just like the cows, Tulsi, and then the pure devotees, the spiritual master. So devotion towards the spiritual master also will fit in the category of pure devotional service. So that's how wide and expansive is Krishna. Because it involves persons related to Krishna, it is not too narrow. For example, Guru Padashra is a limb of bhakti, though it is not direct service to Krishna. Taking shelter of the spiritual master, it's of Anga of bhakti. Ado Guru Padashraya. Rūpa Goswami later on, when Angas of Sadhana Bhakti, he will mention this. So although it is not direct service to Krishna, but still, because it is limb of bhakti, it fits within the Uttama Bhakti definition. Other items would be associating with devotees, observing Ekadashi Vrat and living in the Dham. So living in the Dham especially is also highly potent. So all this is related to Krishna, and that's why it includes all this. Now, here is a question. How can bhakti be spiritual if it is performed using material body and mind? Because in sadhana bhakti, we engage the senses in the service of the Lord. There is an engagement of the body. So how can this bhakti be spiritual? Now, this is what Prabhupada answers in the Nennodi summary study. Krishna conscious activities are directly under the control of the internal energy. By the mercy of a bona fide Guru and Krishna, all endeavors are spiritualized. Now, this is from one of the Acharya's works. This service, Anushilanam, obtainable only by the mercy of Krishna and his devotees, is the transformation of the Lord's Sarup Shakti, and thus is not material but spiritual. However, one should understand that though it is purely spiritual, it makes its appearance and it is not created since it is eternal. Nitya Siddha. Nitya Siddha, no. Kriti Sadhyat Bhavet Sadhya Sa Sadhana Vidha Nitya Siddha Bhavasya Prakatyam Riddhi Sadhita. So it makes its appearance in the body and mind and words by taking over the functions of the body, mind, and words. So Prabhupada has explained this term, and this is a little more elaborate explanation. Now, how these activities which are performed with the senses, with the mind, and the body, all these three are material. So how can you say these activities are spiritual? In one sense, it is answered here. But I would like to hear from devotees. what is their understanding. So I'm sharing the screen also. Anyone would like to answer? How is uh, the activities of devotional service completely spiritual, although it is performed with the material body, mind, and senses? Although the answer is here, I would like to hear some explanation and understanding of the devotees. Who would like to answer? Raise your hands. Yes. Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Yes.
It is solely based on my understanding. I might be partially right or wrong. Depending on our Purva Sukruti, we have received this human body, and human body is the only mode of doing bhakti. So animals do not have that chance to desire for liberation or being into the seva of Sri Krishna. Secondly, we definitely do have, last time we have seen that we have a beach inside us. So the only thing is we need to have a favorable circumstances, guidance from the bona fide guru, and association of bhakta. So when all things come together, uh, maybe we are able to do bhakti or the sadhana through this body, mind, and this human life, though it's more oriented towards all indriyas and its pleasures. This is my understanding, Prabhuji. I mean,
Yeah. It's quite good understanding. We'll just clarify it more in detail. Somebody else also had raised their hands. Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes.
Though the activities are controlled by the internal energy, because of the mercy of the Guru and Krishna only, we can get spiritualized. The reason is that Vaishnava Seva is one of the important aspects for progressing in bhakti, and when we perform Vaishnava Seva or we perform Seva towards the spiritual masters, because of their prayers, we can advance in bhakti.
No, the question is very, very simple. The question is that we engage the body, mind, and senses in Krishna service. They are material. The body, mind, and senses are material. So how is that bhakti can be performed with anything which is material? Bhakti is completely spiritual. So how is that something material, we are using in performance of activities which is getting spiritualized? So how is it? How is it possible? That was the crux of the question.
The material
Yeah.
bodies get spiritualized.
How that happens? That is my question.
Because of the mercy of the Guru and Krishna.
Yes, that is mentioned here because of mercy and Guru and Krishna. What is happening by the mercy of Guru and Krishna?
Our bhakti is awakened, which is in the dormant form.
Yeah, bhakti is awakened in the dormant form. So what is it called? The bhakti which is actually awakened in the heart. Yeah, one more devotee had raised his hand. Birendra Yadav Prabhuji, what is your understanding?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my understanding is when we use our body, mind, and senses in devotional service. So, since this entire activity is under control of Lord Sarup Shakti, so our these senses also over a period of time gets purified and gets spiritualized. So, in that way, it becomes spiritualize our body, mind, senses, and we are
Yes. This is the perfect answer to this. All of you were quite right, but it was going little here and there. Clear understanding is what Virendra Yadav Prabhuji mentioned. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we have got the Bhakti Lata Bij. When this Bhakti Lata Bij is sown in the heart, the Sarupa Shakti of the Lord also enters in the heart. The Sarupa Shakti is also entering the heart in the form of a bij. So the senses are compared to iron, which are attracted to sense objects. But the same senses which are used in Krishna service, they are slowly melting and they later on form gold when they are engaged in Krishna service. So the senses, the mind, the body, although they are material, because the Sarup Shakti of the Lord in the form of the Bhakti Lata Bij is there in the heart, all those activities get spiritualized. And with the practice of sadhana bhakti, when we attain sadhya bhakti, priti sadhyat bhave sadhya, sa sadhana vida, sadhya means bhava bhakti, the senses get fully spiritualized. The mind, the body, the senses become completely spiritual. Chitta, this body also becomes completely spiritualized by engaging in devotional service. At the stage of bhava, it becomes fully spiritualized. But as sadhakas, the more we use the senses, mind and body in the Lord's service, they are getting spiritualized. Because the Sarup Shakti in the form of Bhakti Lata Bij is the residing in the heart. Just like iron, just like iron, when it is put in fire, it acquires the properties of fires. The more it is in contact with fire, the more it will look not like black iron rod, but it will look like a hot red rod. Because the iron is now become fiery. Similarly, the senses, mind and body become spiritualized. So this is the understanding. I hope it is clear. How to perform Krishna Anushilanam? By surrendering unto bona fide Guru. This is what Prabhupada says. Now, isn't Narsimha Anushilanam or Ram Anushilanam not bhakti? Why only Krishna Anushilanam? Why has Rupa Goswami not used, Anukulena Ram Anushilanam Bhaktiruttama? Why he is specific and he has used only Krishna Anushilanam? Who will answer this? Yes, Reena Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण क्योंकि कृष्ण अवतारी पुरुष है, मतलब बाकी सब अवतार कृष्ण से आए हुए हैं. तो जैसे कृष्ण का अगर सिर्फ कृष्ण की भक्ति की तो सब अवतार की भक्ति हो जाती है.
Yes, that's the right answer. Because Krishna is avatari, it includes all the avatars. So whether it is Narsimha, Rama, everything is included in the term Krishna. That's why Rupa Goswami has been precise and he has used Krishna Anushilanam. Anukulena. So this is the second Mukhya Lakshan, that is Anukulena. So let us now come to this Anukulena. The word Anukulena, with favorableness or friendliness, is a descriptive element of Anushilanam or service. So there is Anushilanam, it is more described by Anukulena. So that's why it's a descriptive element of Anushilanam. It is necessary in order to limit the definition of bhakti. The definition of bhakti cannot be established with a disagreeable attitude towards Krishna. Bhakti cool. So this anukulena is required with anushilanam to limit the definition. Otherwise, bhakti, it cannot be pratikul. It has to be anukul. The word anukulena in conjunction with Krishna anushilanam means behavior pleasing for Krishna. Pratikul means the opposite, behavior disagreeable for Krishna. Anukulena indicates that favorableness is a necessary qualifier for defining anushilanam, not as a secondary element that can be assumed to exist in anushilanam, which need not be mentioned separately. So anukulena is necessary in order to define anushilanam. And we cannot say, why not just say anushilanam? Anushilanam includes everything. No, anukulena is required. So that is why it is a necessary qualifier, is what Jiva Goswami is mentioning in his commentary. Now, two possible definitions of anukulena. That which is pleasing to Krishna, that which is done for pleasing Krishna. Please carefully read this statement 1 and 2. That which is pleasing to Krishna, that which is done for pleasing Krishna. Among these two, which is anukulena? Which is right, whether 1 or 2? Who will answer this? We have discussed now in the last slide about anukul and pratikul. So based on that, this question is being asked. Yes, Radha Jivan Krishna Prabhuji.
So both are right.
Both are right. Okay. There is subtle difference. Think about it more. Yes, anyone else? Somebody else also had raised their hand. I saw. Amal Bhakti Rani Mataji.
Prabhuji, I think the second one, because whatever is favorable and that which is done for pleasing Krishna, whatever activities and Shilanam we do, which should be.
That which is done for pleasing Krishna, second one is right. Yes?
Yes.
Now you are right about it. Okay. So you are right about it. Now my question to you is, that which is pleasing to Krishna, why it is wrong?
No, it's not wrong.
No, there is one right and one wrong. For your kind information. So the second one is right, the first one is wrong. I'm already answering you, but now why the first one is wrong is my question to you. Think about it a little bit. That which is pleasing to Krishna. I know it is a little difficult, those who have not studied this explanation quite in detail from the Acharya's commentaries, but still you can try. That which is pleasing to Krishna, that which is done for pleasing Krishna. There are many acts by which Krishna might be pleased. But can that be also called as bhakti? That's the point we are discussing now here. Any thoughts about it, Mataji?
It's quite confusing, Prabhuji, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you one example. I'll just throw some hint because it's not so easy. Now, in the Vara and Hiranyaksh fight, Varadev is Krishna avatar only. Varadev is relishing the Veera Ras with Hiranyaksh, or in the Narsimha and Hiranyakashipu fight. Narsimhadev is relishing the Veera. He's got really a person to fight with, the powerful Hiranyakashipu. So in that fight, Krishna is relishing Veeras. So Krishna is, it's pleasing to Krishna, the Veeras, the fight. So is that bhakti then performed by Hiranyaksha or Hiranyakashipu?
He's just pleasing. The bhakti part is not there. He's just trying to.
The fight which is happening. Krishna is getting pleasure in it.
Yes.
Okay. But is that bhakti performed by Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha?
No.
Can you call them as devotees? Can you call them as bhaktas? Because bhakti means, you're doing activity, continuous activity, body, mind, and words, acts that are pleasing to Krishna. Krishna is getting pleased because Krishna is relishing Veera Rasa. So, but still, would you call Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are performing devotion?
No.
No. Why? Okay, Archana Mataji. Yes, why?
Hiranyakashipu was troubling Vaishnava, that is Prahlad.
No, don't go into that. Only between Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu and Narsimdev and Hiranyaksha with Varadev, when they are fighting, there is Veeraras. Both the lords are relishing. It's pleasing to them. But their acts are not called as bhakti. Why? See, the definition of pure devotional service is not so easy. Why? Yes, Vikram.
Because they are not devoted with their body, mind, and thoughts while performing.
They are doing engagement with their body, mind, and words, or with the body at least. They are doing. Definitely, there is no doubt about it. There is one answer which has come here, which is the right answer, and they have attended the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Rajiv Jivan Prabhuji, yes.
So their intention is not please Krishna.
Yes, this is the simple answer. The acts which they have done is not with the intention to please Krishna, or it is not done with the Anukul Bhav to please Krishna. Although they are fighting with Krishna and Krishna is getting pleasure, Veeras, but still we cannot call Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha as devotees. We call them as demons only, because it is not done with Anukul Bhav. Here, Anukulena, they do not fit in that, in the Mukhya Lakshan. It is Pratikul. They have done that act of fighting with Krishna with the intention to kill Krishna or harm Krishna. But in that act of fight, Krishna is pleased. Krishna is relishing Veeras. So this is the important point to note. So we finished this. So now let us more clarify this. Anukulena. Anukulena cannot mean pleasing for Krishna. Why? Because such a definition is both too extensive and too limiting. It is too extensive. How it is too extensive? A demon fighting with Krishna, Veeras, is pleasing to Krishna, but that is not devotional service. How it is too limiting? Mother Yashoda trying to bind Krishna displeases him, but she is clearly a topmost devotee. So Mother Yashoda binding Krishna, or Mother Yashoda, when she was feeding the breast milk, she left Krishna and went to the kitchen to pick up the pot where the milk was boiling. And Krishna was displeased. He was angry. In fact, he was biting his tooth. But you cannot say that Mother Yashoda is not a devotee. Although those acts might externally feel that Krishna is displeased. But Mother Yashoda's intention, or she has got Anukul Bhav, whereas the demons, although they might be pleasing Krishna, but it is with Pratikul Bhav. That is why too extensive or too limiting, in order to restrict. That is why Rūpa Goswami has used this particular term Anukulena. Therefore, Anukulena should mean that which is done for pleasing Krishna, devoid of hostility on part of the performer. The performer who is performing bhakti, he should be devoid of hostility. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha had hostility towards Krishna, whereas Mother Yashoda did not have hostility. And they performed these acts, Mother Yashoda, with the intention to please Krishna. And the act of Viriras or fight by Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha was not done with the intention to please Krishna, but with an intention to harm Krishna. So that's why it is not Anukul, it is Pratikul, and Mother Yashoda will fit in this, although Krishna might be displeased. So this is Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam. Now, further. Now, let us do some redundancy check. Every term Rūpa Goswami has used has to be there in order to define pure devotion service. If you remove that term, whether it will work. So let us do this first redundancy check, whether there is any term which is, extra there in the definition. What is the need of Anukulena? When the king calls the soldiers for war, it is assumed that they have to come with weapons. Similarly, Anukulena is implied in Anushilanam. Just like the king says, warriors, get ready for the war. So if they are coming to the battlefield, they will come with their weapons. So similarly, you just say Anushilanam. So Anushilanam should be included within, Anukulena should be included within Anushilanam. So that's the point. That's the objection. That is the Purva Paksha. Let us see the response. When the king calls the soldiers to feed them, they don't have to come with their weapons. Now the king has, the marriage of his daughter, and he invites the soldiers, come to the palace for a feast. So it is not expected now the warriors to come with their weapons. Therefore, Anushilanam, actions directed with concentration on Krishna, doesn't automatically imply Anukulena. Example, Kamsa. In fact, Kamsa was continuously thinking of Krishna with his mind. So you can say that Kamsa, the absorption of Kamsa is remarkable. Even devotees cannot have that kind of absorption. But was it in Anukul Bhav? No, it was not in Anukul Bhav. It was Pratikul. That's why Kamsa cannot be counted as a devotee. So that is why Anushilanam has to be described by Anukulena. Anukulena cannot be implied to be present in Anushilanam. So that's how the argument Jiva Goswami gives. Thus the word Anukulena is necessarily added to this particular definition of bhakti. So that is regarding Anukulena. Further. Now the second objection. Now we saw about the term Anukulena. Now, is Anushilanam necessary? Anukulena means, it is action already. So why Anushilanam is required? What is the need of Anushilanam? Isn't Anukula Bhakti enough? As Bhakti automatically means service. Bhakti means service. So why Anushilanam has to be there? Why isn't Sirf Anukulena not sufficient? Anyone would like to answer? This is a little difficult, but still you can try. Yes, Amal Bhakti Rani Mataji. I have unmuted you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhu. To cultivate the relationship with Krishna.
To cultivate the relationship with Krishna. But how that is connected with Anukulena and Anushilanam, I don't understand. Okay, please repeat the question. Now, we saw that Anushilanam term is there, Anukulena has to be there. That descriptive element of Anukulena has to be there. And the example, the objection was raised in the previous this, we saw that, warriors get ready for the fight. So the warriors will come with weapon. It is understood. So similarly, Anushilanam means Anukulina, but when the warriors go for a feast, they don't carry the weapons. So that's why Anukul is required. Now the question is, why not just have Anukulena and Rumu Anushilam? Because Anukul means, doing Bhakti Anukul means there is service. Service is there. So Anushilam should be included within Anukulena. So why Anushilanam has to be separately mentioned? That is the question. I hope it is clear. Yes. Who will answer this? Two participants. Vikram had raised his hand first. Yes, Vikram.
Not a problem, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just having intention of bhakti, a lot of people just have intention that we'll do this, we'll do that. That doesn't work until they do Anushilam, practically engaging in the service of Krishna. They are both different things.
Yeah, okay.
So Anushilam is required because practical implementation of bhakti.
Yeah, bhakti means service. So bhakti means service. That's what is the point here. Bhakti means service. And so within Anukulena, service is included. That's what is, the argument which is raised.
But Anukulam is service by mentally, intentional, from mind. But Anushilam is doing bhakti with your body and engaging everything unto the
Krishna. we can do continuous constant remembrance of Krishna with the mind, with favorable attitude, Anukulina, then it is also bhakti. So why Anushilanam is required? Yes, one more. Reena Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, understand.
Yes.
Actually, not so clear. But मतलब अनुकूलेन मतलब in favorable way, and अनुशीलनम मतलब we have to do the service by मतलब by in बोलते सब विधि विधान follow करके हमको service करना है. अनुशीलन मतलब हमको follow करना ही है तो हमको for getting Krishna prema. Sorry, I'm some confusing, Prabhuji.
Okay. I got it. So this is not so easy. Let us see. What is the need for Anushilam? Isn't Anukulena Bhakti enough? As Bhakti automatically means service. For example, when the king goes out traveling, there is one hand raised by Sunita Machadi. Yes, Mataji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I'll try. If Anushilanam is discipline, is it discipline, Prabhuji?
Okay, so
Bhakti cannot be whimsical.
Anukulena, Anushilanam. Okay. Discipline. Discipline means following after the previous acharyas, Anu, or continuous. Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss now. Okay. For example, when the king goes out traveling, it is also implied that he goes along with his entourage. So the king is going means queens, ministers, all is included. So Anukulena means Anushilanam should be also included. So this is the Purva Paksha argument. Similarly, when we mention bhakti, it includes service and other items as well. Now, what is the response? Yes, this is true. But by omitting Anushilanam, there won't be any clear indication of the different shades of meanings inherent in the root sheel, Cheshta Rupa and Bhava Rupa. So to bring out these different shades of meanings, Anushilanam is required. There is Cheshta Rupa Anushilanam, Bhava Rupa Anushilanam. Thus, there won't be any indication of the different modes of bhakti, that is Cheshta Rupa and Bhava Rupa. The word Anushilanam is specifically supplied in the definition in order to comprehend the full sense of there is something which has got cut. Full sense of the root. I don't know how it has got cut. Yeah. So here is the response, full sense of the root. That is the reason why Anushilanam is there, to get the different shades of bhakti. The second one, some devotees gave a little bit understanding, and it is right. Moreover, the prefix Anu indicates that the service has to be continuous. This is very, very important. We saw Ananya Bhakti definition means it should be continuous. If it is not continuous, then you don't fit in the definition of Ananya Bhakti. We saw that in the in the first class when we discussed this definition. Continuous engagement of body, minds, and words. Ahetuki apratihata. Apratihata means uninterrupted. Avyavahita, as in the Kapil Śikṣā it is mentioned. So that is why Anu is required for continuous. Another response is that a pot also is devoid of hostility towards Krishna and is pleasing to Krishna. Anukul. Krishna sees a pot, and seeing that pot, he is very happy. Can you say that the pot is performing bhakti? But it cannot be considered to be performing bhakti. Therefore, Anushilanam is necessary. The pot is also devoid with hostility. It doesn't have hostility. So therefore, Anushilanam is necessary. Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. Continuous service or emotions directed towards Krishna, his expansion forms or others related to him, with a pleasing attitude towards Krishna, is the essential characteristic Swarupa Lakshan of the. So now we have finished the Swarupa Lakshan of Bhakti discussion. Today we discussed Krishna Anushilanam, Krishna, and Anukulena. Now, any questions regarding this now? What we have discussed up till now in today's session? Any questions? Any clarifications? It's very important to get this clear understanding of the definition of pure devotional service. Any questions? Two hands have been raised, and I will only take these two questions then. Any other questions? Anyone else wants to raise their hands? Okay, so only two of them. Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What is the very purpose of learning this Rūpa Śikṣā word by word? I mean, what should be our mode of frame of mind while studying this knowledge? when we are literally dissecting word by word. So what should be our mode of taking the knowledge?
Okay, very interesting
Or
and nice
how
question.
can we study also, for that matter? I mean, once the class is over, so are we supposed to think and rethink and go through the videos again and
Got it.
again?
Got it. So, since Rupa Goswami has defined pure devotional service, and our acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada have given a very extensive, elaborate commentary, especially Jiva Goswami. Every term he has explained in his commentary very deeply. First thing is to understand that how Rupa Goswami is such a perfect acharya who has precisely defined what is Uttama Bhakti. This is the reason. Every term in that definition has to be there. That's why every term has been elaborated in the commentary. So this is first thing we need to understand. Having understood that, we have to understand that if we want to perform pure devotional service or come to this platform of Uttama Bhakti, practice of Uttama Bhakti, then we also have to understand this definition very precisely. So best is to study the commentaries of the Acharyas, study Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotional Service, hear about this definition repeatedly. Once we have the discussion, it doesn't mean that we understand it completely. It takes some time. Sometimes it might take some years also. So we repeatedly study, we can repeatedly hear the lectures, and we discuss with others about our understanding, and then slowly put it into practice. Whenever I'm performing any devotional act, take for example chanting. So just think about why I'm chanting this, for pleasing Krishna. Is there any other desire? Or I'm chanting because I have to finish my rounds. Otherwise, I'll get sin, something like that. So like that, we have to evaluate and try to come to this platform of pure devotional service. So these are the various reasons how we should take this understanding of the definition of pure devotional service. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
There was one more hand which was raised. Virendra Yadav, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji,
Yes.
in this example of, you mentioned this example of this Varaha and Hiranyaksh fight.
Yes.
You said Lord was getting pleased by having Veera Ras. I just wanted to understand, Prabhuji, when this fight is happening, Hiranyaksh would be having hostile attitude towards Varaha, and it would be definitely giving anger to Varaha. And so my question is how, I mean, Varaha would be pleasing when he will be angry and he will be fighting with so much intense. So how he can be angry as well as he will be pleasing?
Well, the Lord, when he's relishing the fight with Hiranyaksha, he is relishing Veeraras. And just to give an example, sometimes kings, they used to have, among them only somebody who's a commander or a general who is really well built. The king is to, relish what is called as the Malla Yuddha, wrestling. And the general or the commander who is in that king's army, who's favorite of the king, he is to fight with the king. Now his intention is very clear, not to harm the king, but to give him a good fight. real good fight. Because by that, even the king gets a relish of Viriras. So there the general or the commander who is fighting with the king has an intention to please the king, and at the same time the king is relishing Viriras. But sometimes during the fight, it might turn up that when the fight becomes heavy, because when there is fight, there is Viriras, there is Raudra, anger, and in that anger, things can go wrong. So, and the king might really become angry on the opponent. The Lord also might exhibit anger in the fight, but the Lord's anger is transcendental. That's why the Lord accepting devotional service from a devotee and liberating the devotee, giving benedictions to the devotee, or killing the demons, for him the act is same. So ultimately, in one sense, the Lord is relishing Viraras in those fights, but Hiranyaksh or Hiranyakashipu cannot be called as devotees, because those acts by which the Lord is getting pleased are not done with Anukul Bhav. Is it clear, Prabhuji?
Okay, Guru. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So any other questions anyone has? Okay, so now after this we have the Tatastha Lakshan. The Tatastha Lakshan, I don't want to start it today, because then we'll not be able to complete it. So in one more class, we will discuss the Tatastha Lakshan of devotion. That's just one more class, that's it. And then we will end with the definition of pure devotional service. Now, this is something which we have taken while discussing Rūpa Śikṣā, because Anya Bilashita Shunyam verse came. And that's why we have discussed this from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, because it's very important for us to understand this definition of pure devotional service. So any other last questions or clarification anyone has? Okay, then. So we will stop for here today. We are winding up 5 minutes early, because we don't want to start the Tatastha Lakshan halfway. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.